Hey there, everyone, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking movie reaction review. I know I haven't done one in a while, especially for a film that, just dropped. I wanted to do one for the new Jurassic World Rebirth and for Superman 2025, but I always feel rushed when a movie comes out and I want to review it. I had a lot to say about both those movies, so I didn't review them because I had too much to say and I didn't want to rush to prepare a review. But I also didn't want to release one so late that there was no point in doing all the work for it. Fortunately, I don't have much to say about Fantastic Four. And that's not a bad thing. It is a good movie, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. It has good casting. I actually really liked the casting. A good mix of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee elements, but also a lot of Jonathan Hickman stuff in there, which I really like. Jonathan Hickman, long-term stories right there. Everything he's worked on for Marvel is like one big insane story. I definitely recommend his Fantastic Four run if you haven't read it already. But there's also a lot in this movie that's incredibly predictable. And I'll get to that in a sec. I'll tell you when the spoilers start. But I actually really liked the portrayal of the Human Torch and the Thing. The Thing is my favorite Fantastic Four member. And let me say, they're much like the current versions in the comics. A much more mature Johnny, a much more secure Ben. Not really harassing each other full on. They still have their disagreements, but in a fun way. Very, very roommatey disagreements. But I liked it. It felt more like the current modern Thing, who's more emotionally stable, who has adopted some alien children, which I thought was a great thing for them to have him do at the end of Empire. So it's like that version of the Thing, which is one of my favorite characters in Marvel right now. This Thing that is at terms with who and what he is. I love that, because the last movies didn't give us that, which is fine. They gave us a more 60s kind of thing, and I'm very happy we have a more 2020s kind of thing in this film. Franklin Richards, awesome. He was in the marketing, that's not a spoiler. I love the visuals of the world. The CGI was good for the most part. There were some weird keyframing moments, like when they hop out of the Fantastic Car at one point, and whenever Ben is holding Franklin, it looks weird. But not entirely awful. Sue Storm is clearly the MVP of this entire movie. If you had to pick one to be the main character, it's definitely her. It's nice to see this heavy, heavy focus on Sue, who is arguably the most powerful of all of them. I remember when she exploded Deadpool's head in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and stuff. I always think of that. I'm just like, put a bubble in his brain. Incredible. And now we're going to get to the spoilery part. So if you haven't seen the film, this is where you stop. So, this film is incredibly predictable. Incredibly predictable. You'll be able to call a lot that happens. So, their big plan to stop Galactus is just to move the Earth somewhere else. Patrick Star style, right? Bikini Bottom style. And you know that's not going to work, because if it does work, there's not going to be a big fight scene. So you know it's not going to happen. And it doesn't. And the whole time they're doing all this stuff to try to move the Earth, I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's not going to work. That's stupid. It can't work. It's... They're clearly going to use the teleporter just on Galactus instead. It's kind of insane that they thought, let's use the teleporter, but not let's use it on Galactus first instead of the whole planet. So yeah, they failed to teleport the planet. And of course, they end up making a plan to teleport Galactus. And that plan almost fails too, And then at the last second, the Silver Surfer comes in and she helps finish off Galactus. And there's that, plus some other little things throughout. And it's just. The film as a whole is incredibly predictable. The whole time. I didn't see any spoilers online or anything. I don't even watch trailers before I go see movies anymore. That's how much I avoid spoilers. The whole time, I just knew what was going to happen. The whole time. Except for pretty much all the Mole Man stuff. I did not expect him to be the ally. I didn't predict almost anything that happened with the Mole Man. I did not predict them becoming international pals. I did not predict him helping at the end. So the Mole Man was the wild card for me. Everything else, completely 100% predictable, unfortunately. That being said, it was still pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the writing. Sue's speech to the crowd outside her home was really good. This was a really uplifting, hopeful film. And it's coming out on the tails of Superman. I think it would have done better if it came out before Superman. I mean, I'm recording this the first Sunday it's in theaters. I'm sure the film will do well because I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They even talk about. This is actually really funny. They even talk about Reed Richards failing his driving test, something he canonically did several times in the comics. I think he failed at least 4 times. Like, that's really funny. What a tiny but deep pool. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So yeah, there were some weird tiny moments of animation, but for the most part it was good. I liked Silver Surfer. I've actually always been a really huge Silver Surfer fan. I was reading just Silver Surfer comics. One of my favorite comics is a Silver Surfer comic that led into the Infinity Gauntlet, where Thanos is teleporting him around and some crazy but scientifically kind of sound stuff happens. I love the Silver Surfer. Having Shala Ball in this, fine by me. They didn't make her really any different than Norrin Rad, which is kind of why it was very predictable. But she did a great job. All the actors did a great job. All of them. I really enjoyed their performances. Every single one. Very good. Loved the aesthetic. And the story is good. It's just predictable. And I think one of the reasons it actually is so predictable is because it's so comic accurate. And there's kind of this thing I've been saying for a while. I don't want comic book movies based on specific stories anymore. I don't. I don't want hyper-specific stories adapted. Like, I don't want you to adapt Batman Hush. But if you made Hush the villain and did a completely new story around that, I'd rather have that. Completely new stories just with the characters we know and love is what I prefer. And we do get a decent amount of that. We do. That's what Thunderbolts was. I enjoyed Thunderbolts a lot. Sentry's my favorite Marvel character, at the very least one of them. Really and truly. But it was just so predictable. But I still really liked it, and I'll probably watch it again one day. So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links down below. Let me know if you want to see more videos on like Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth. I did a short about Superman, and I posted it on TikTok as well. I have a TikTok now, which I'll link in the description for as long as TikTok still exists in the States. That's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.